Oh wow, those leaves are coming down. Look at that. I love when that happens. I'm out here gonna be doing some more cleanup out in the garden, taking down these tobaccos that did not do well, did not fare the ice. And I will be saving seeds from this Southern Beauty here. I did notice that the Southern Beauty tobacco fared better than the Perique. These are all Southern Beauty here. They still look great after the ice. Really wouldn't have known that they have been covered in ice. Oh, that's a pretty little orb weaver. Look at that. When my garden had gotten covered in ice, I had said, you know, I don't think that my garden would be able to handle another night of this. Well, it did. It got down again in the 20s, and I left my sprinkler on, and it got covered in ice again. Things fared well. I did get a little bit more damage on the peppers. Look here. But look at this. I mean, it looks healthy and great. You would have never known it got covered in ice. I'm just going to be trimming off the sections that got damaged, taking those peppers and just using them that way. Like I've got the habaneros that are still green, the cayennes that are still green. I'll just make a green hot sauce with those, and I'll leave the rest. I'll kind of trim this back. The rest of November is supposed to be nice and warm. So it's quite fascinating to see how that ice protected the plants. It trapped the heat in there, basically. It was neat to see it in action. And educational to see which plants handled it. And I'm really surprised that the peppers handled it as well as they did. You know, I meant to go look to see. I have spiderweb on my nose. I do have some random volunteer tomatoes that had popped up. I'm gonna go ahead and also take down this gourd plant and just bring the gourds inside, I think. Because the vine is dead. Same with the Long Island cheese. I'm just gonna bring the pumpkins in. I was curious. Gosh, you know, being covered in ice, the pumpkins look okay. But I see a problem here. Pickleworm. So we can just throw that one to the chickens, or if I want to use it right now, I could cut it open, carve out those pickleworms, and use the section that's hasn't been damaged. Let's see, I know I had some tomatoes over here. It's warming up. It's gonna get up to the almost 70 degrees today. Tomorrow it's gonna be 70, and the rest of the week we're gonna be getting in the 80s. Random weird weather. I know I had some tomatoes over here. Yeah, see. They did not fare well at all. See that? Peppers seem to be quite a bit tougher than tomatoes. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and clean this stuff up. Get rid of the damaged sections. I think I'll bring my wheelbarrow out here and just throw the damaged sections in there. And maybe a basket, and throw all the peppers. Some of these cayennes fared better than the others. This one's pretty damaged. This one that I wanted to overwinter is actually pretty darn good. The upper section got more damage. So I'll just remove that. We'll take the peppers, and I'll leave the healthy portion and let it continue to grow. And I will overwinter them later. Yeah, this habanero looks pretty darn good. This is the one that I want to overwinter. The second night that it froze out here and got covered in ice, this top portion got damaged right here. Bottom section here is still looking good, so I will just remove the top section and allow the rest of the peppers to mature. And yeah, I'll be saving this one, and I also saved seeds from this one. I would think I'm saving seeds from all my healthiest plants, and of course the plants that were able to handle being covered in ice for 2 nights in a row. Anyway, let's get started. Tomorrow I've got all my onions that I need to plant out. They are looking great. I've been soaking them the past, has it been 3 nights? I think it's been 2 or 3 nights. And the majority of them have some nice roots coming out. Not all of them do, and that's fine. That's normal for them all. Some are quicker than others. And I'm gonna get my hat so I'm not squinting in the sun. I almost feel like I'm gonna need a change. I'm gonna get hot. Anyway, I will be back. Give all the little scraps to the chickens. Well, yeah, today's goal is to tidy up the garden and make it pretty. When I was editing that video, the one with when the garden was covered in ice, I was cracking up just a little bit, you guys, because I found it a little hilarious that I covered my garden in ice like that. But you know what? If I hadn't, I would have lost these peppers completely. I would have lost all my tobacco. There is science behind it. It's just, I wasn't thinking about it that way. I don't know if you can hear the sawing in the background, but Nathan is working on the process of installing that wood stove in the kitchen. I'm honestly still very nervous about the whole process of learning to cook with a wood stove. So we'll just kind of see how it goes. Alright, I took all the stuff that got damaged off. And I mean, it doesn't look beautiful, but there's still a lot on here that's good and alive and thriving. Oh, and a lot of peppers. So we're just gonna let that go. We'll give all the green to the chickens. I've heard that capsaicin doesn't affect chickens. They don't feel the heat in their mouth, but I have noticed that my chickens don't like to eat peppers. They'll eat the foliage, but they won't eat the actual peppers. But in fact, tobacco too. I'm not supposed to feed tobacco to the chickens as well. It makes them sick. It can harm them. But I did feed it to them last year, and because I didn't know. And I can't remember if they actually ate it or not. Chickens are pretty good at not eating things that they shouldn't be eating. All the tobacco, just throw in a pile somewhere. And I'll be making some ferments with this. I've never made a ferment out of green peppers. It won't be as spicy. I'm curious. Oh. Gosh. Okay. There's some heat. Woohoo! No, there it is. It's not as hot though. It still has the flavor of a habanero pepper, but it also has a little bit of a hint of the flavoring of a green bell pepper. That's interesting. Huh. Okay. Onward. Onward we go. It just feels good to clean things up when I look out to the garden and I see stuff like this over here. I want to get it down as soon as possible. It's not pretty to look at, you know? And then that will give my hairy vetch down here more sun. I see it's starting to want to come out this way to reach for the sun, you see? So I'll take this down. We'll move that hairy vetch. It's pretty easy to move, you see. Just encourage it to go up that way. And I'll probably leave some of the vines down as just an extra way for the hairy vetch to get up. And I'm thinking I might order one more bag of hairy vetch, and it can get really thick and beautiful on there. In fact, next year I was thinking about it when I'm out in the garden. I don't listen to podcasts or anything like that. I like just being out here, and I've tried listening to books on tape and things like that, and I just find that I don't ever listen to them. Just out here, present, enjoying the garden, and thinking about what I want to do next year, what I want to do different. And I think one of the things that I want to do with this main big arch here is I'm going to mix it up. I'm not just going to do one squash on it. I'll probably have one squash on each side. Then I want to mix in some climbing beans and also some tomatoes. So I want to mix it up a little bit on all the arches and not just do one solid thing, and I'll see how that goes, because the Long Island cheese is very vigorous. But I think since I do come out here every day and I'm checking on everything, I think I can maneuver it so that it's not taking out other plants. But we'll see. It will be fun, and it's going to be something different, and I'm excited. I'm just going to go ahead and take this bean down here. Been looking at these beans and thinking, you know, the leaves look pretty damaged and sad, but the vine of the plant still looks fine. I might just leave it up and experiment and see if it still will put energy into ripening the other beans that are still on this plant, as much as I want to take it down because it looks ugly. We'll see. I'm gonna give it some time. We're gonna wait. I got a lot of habanero peppers in here. I honestly don't know what to do with all of these. I don't know if I'm gonna want that much green habanero hot sauce. So we'll just kind of see how it goes. Quite a few cayennes on here as well. You know, the stalk of this plant still looks healthy in a lot of spots. I'm just gonna remove the ugly leaves, foliage that's just dying. It'll eventually just turn brown. And we'll see if the plant can still ripen these peppers. It's worth a shot. It's not gonna hurt anything. All right, there you have it. It looks so much better. Yeah, I took all the damaged stuff off. There we go. And we'll just let this guy continue to ripen these peppers. This makes me feel so much better. In fact, when I was out here assessing the damage when things were still covered in ice, I did get a little bit emotional. I won't lie. But there's no crying in this garden. I'm joking. That kind of reminds me of that quote from, what is it, League of Our Own? Tom Hanks, he says, there's no crying in baseball. There's no crying in gardening. No, there's definitely crying in gardening. Anyway, I'm going to continue on and get this garden looking healthier, happier. Well, the one that looks the best for sure is the one that I've been collecting seeds from, and also the one that I'm going to overwinter. These other ones look a little cracked out. We'll see. But I've also been cutting off some of the damaged peanuts, and I've been thinking a lot about just not harvesting the peanuts this year and letting them die off and reseeding themselves next year. That will save me a lot of time, because planting peanuts it's still, you know, tedious. So I'm not sure. I'm still thinking about it. We'll see. All right, I'm gonna remove all these vines here from this Long Island cheese pumpkin. Normally I would want some sort of protection. I would wear Nathan's big leather welding gloves. They work really well for this, but he is actually welding right now. So we're just gonna have to tough it out. Yeah, that looks better, but I'll tell you, that's one of the downsides of vertical gardening is cleaning the trellises. It's not my favorite job, but it looks a lot better. The next time I'm at Harbor Freight, I'm gonna get myself my own pair of welding gloves. I know they even have welding sleeves, which would be nice for this kind of job. The reason I like the welding gloves is that they're tough enough where I can also go and prune my roses and not get poked. I recently had to clean out the blackberry patch and remove a bunch of wild, prickly blackberries that I did not want in there. And that was just a game changer to have these big old thick gloves to just rip these things up out of the ground. Anyway, that looks a lot better. I still have more to do over here. And I'll be taking all the gourds down, of course. Now, the question is with the Luffas. It's best... Throw this pumpkin. I need 2 hands. Thought I could bust it open, but they're gonna have to work on that themselves. With Luffas, you really want them to dry on the vine until they're nice and dried looking. But I have heard you can harvest them green if they're squishy. The problem with that, though, is that it's a messy. We'll just have to wait and see. This vine looks dead to me. And you never know. Let's see what happens. What I'm gonna do is go ahead and just take all the gourds down and then clean this up. Hopefully enough of the gourds had enough time to mature. Let's see. It was kind of interesting to think about what was able to handle being covered in ice with the sprinkler running overnight and what wasn't. So the peppers definitely fared pretty well. The tobacco fared pretty well. The stuff that, of course, was in the middle fared better because it got more water. It had more ice on it. What happens is that water freezes and it releases heat and it protects the plant. That's why the ice protected a lot of these plants that were covered, instead of if they had just been out and gotten frost on them. Marigolds and peanuts also did really well with being frozen. And of course all the brassicas, all the frost-tolerant plants. The things that didn't fare well were the potatoes, tomatoes, all of my gourds, squashes, watermelons. That stuff got completely damaged and killed. So yeah, it was kind of educational to see what could handle something like that. Getting all the way down into the mid to low 20s for 2 nights in a row. Okay, y'all, I'm all finished for today. Well, things are looking so much better now. I've gotten rid of everything that got damaged, anything that died off completely. The only thing that I left are those Luffas. Not sure what to do about them yet. And then I left those Pinkeyes. I think they still have some life left in them. And we'll see if they have enough to ripen those last few beans on there. I noticed over here with this Odessa squash here, I see the fruit that was growing. This one got a little damaged. See the darker section here? This one's fine. And so is this one. It still has some life left in it, so I'm gonna let it go and we'll see what it does. That's kind of cool that it actually made it for the most part. So yeah, well, I'm just gonna let that kind of go and we'll see what it does. Yep, and tomorrow I can get all those onions out and any more brassicas and really fill in this garden. And we'll see what to do with these gourds. I'm not sure. I got this one watermelon. Curious to open it up to see if I can possibly save seeds from it. I don't know. I might try opening it up tonight. Anyway, y'all, I'm gonna go inside and make some pizza. We're gonna have movie night tonight. We're gonna watch the movie The Fly, and I've honestly never seen that one before, and I'm kind of excited. Thanks for watching, y'all. Take care, and we'll see you next time.